Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I'm going to do some crafting. I'm going to do some stamping, mixed media, fun stuff, and I thought I would just start off and show you what I'm going to use. I plan to live narrate this tutorial if it's not too long, and I think it'll be kind of fun to do kind of like a little craft along type thing. So I'll show you the inspiration first. The inspiration were these two sets of stickers I found. Do you remember on my junk drawer tour? I saw these and I thought these would be really pretty for some cards, and I'm like, these are going to be the inspiration. I'm going to use these. And I thought these would be really pretty in some mason jars, and then I thought these would be really pretty with some bird type themed stamps, and then I thought, you know, I could really use these together, and I think I could get a bunch of different projects, maybe like 10 cards or something between these two sticker packs and supplies that will go with both. So that was my inspiration. From the Dollar Tree stickers. I think you can still get them. So I've got a few different pattern papers. Now it was really hard not to go overboard. I basically just went and grabbed the first things that I thought would work. So I've got this graphic 45 paper that's just like little green and cream kind of fairy-like images. I've got this this double-sided paper here that's got some measuring tape on it. I've got just plain text. I have some vellum for stamping my mason jars on. I want to do some blue ball jars and also just some kind of like clear. And then I've just got some white stamping paper for, you know, images. I want to make my own background, so I've got some craft paper here, and I also have a couple sheets of cream. I originally was going to go with the craft, but then I thought, you know, I think my stamping will show up better on this, and I'm going to layer up a bunch of stuff, so I think I'll probably do 2 cream backgrounds and 1 craft background, and that would give me 12 cards or 12 card bases. I'm going to do A2 size cards. So that's my plan there. And then I was looking through I've been going through everything in my studio. I don't really plan on downsizing or destashing much, but I'm just kind of been going through everything and seeing what I have and putting my hands on stuff, making sure it's still in good working order. And when I was going through my embellishment drawers, I found I love to make embellishments. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, but I don't tend to use them after I make them. So I'm like, you know what? I made these years ago. I'm going to try to actually use them. So I've got some like Prima wings that I made with, I think this was with resin. I have some hot glue embellishments. I've got some of those soft, like kind of Martha Stewart clay embellishments. I've got all kinds of stuff in here that I've made. Resin, clay, that sort of thing. I got some feet. I don't think I'll be using feet on my project. I think those are plaster anyway, so they'd probably shatter. But so I got those random things that I made. And then I've got a bunch of button cards that I made. And I don't know if I can work these in. Maybe even I'll pull some buttons off and use them. But I made a bunch of these a few years ago and I loved them. And I made a few, and I put a few on cards, but I never really did much with them. So maybe I can use those. I don't know. Or maybe they'll like live in here for a couple weeks until I can use them. And little metal charms there, but I just thought they were pretty. And my friend Cindy had made these. She actually made everybody in our little stamping group when we went to a stamp show together these cute little embellishment tags. And I thought, well, the color's not exactly what I need, but I think I could spray them and you know, make them match my project. So that would be really special because a friend of mine made them. And then let me zoom back out and I'll show you my tray of other stuff. I grabbed a few spray inks that I thought would work. I got these distress sprays. I got a coral because the undertone in these stickers are kind of like a corally pink. And there's a little bit of a violet undertone there. So I've got the wilted violet, which actually I'm thinking more for these. And I got a green and a brown. I got a green with a little more yellow in it and just kind of a vintage photo-y color. I don't use these enough, and I really want to, you know, use that stuff that's been sitting around. I mean, I bought and paid for these. I went crazy, and they had a good deal at a stamp show, and I bought like almost every color that was available. So it was kind of ridiculous. I really need to use these more. And also, this came in like I think a Smart Art box. It was a gold acrylic spray. I'm really hoping that these aren't all clogged. But I thought that might be nice just for like an overall just kind of shimmer after I'm done making my background. I've got some seam binding that I've dyed. Do you remember when that was a huge trend? I still love grabbing that. So basically, my card's going to look like it was made 10 years ago. But that's okay because that's a style I like, that kind of like messy collage-y look. Several people asked about gelatos when I did my watercolor crayon comparison. Oh, and get this, guys. When I was pulled down the tray of sprays to pull some out, I found my Lero watercolor crayons and some Dina Wakley scribble sticks. So I did not lose them or give them away, and I found another another set of a different brand. So those are, I've stored those over with my watercolor crayons. But yeah, you kind of get to put your hands on all of your supplies once a year just so you don't forget what you have. So I want to do some gelatos. I also grabbed some stencils because I thought that some people had, I'd mentioned gelatos and stencils and people really were interested in that. So I thought I might use some of that in the backgrounds. The backgrounds, we're basically just going to be making big collage-y mixed media things, and then we'll cut them up. For stamps, I've got some oldies and newies. These are some New Quetzal Craft ones that I got from Top Flight Stamps. And then I've got this, was probably my favorite mason jar stamp, and I think it's the first one I ever bought. This is an Inkadinkadoo mason jar stamp, and I think you can still buy this at the big box craft stores. I have some old Stampin' Up sets that I really like. Actually, I did a video using gelatos with this stamp set, I believe, or it was one very similar to this on my YouTube channel a few years ago, if you're curious. I've never used this, I don't think, and I thought it was really pretty, clearly, because I bought it. So I thought it might be nice to use the, to like make some birds this way and then cut them out and put them on a card. I really like this nest. I bought this from Impression Obsession. They had a big clearance sale and a couple of years ago when I snagged this. And I really love those sweet little birds, although I don't think the style of those birds are going to work with the cards I'm doing today, but I think that nest will. And then I love these bigger bird cages. I thought those would be cute. You know, I just basically store my supplies by theme, and it's really easy for me to find what I want. And then I leave my binders open over in the storage area, and when I'm done with my project, I just pick everything up in my basket, take it back, and I put everything back. Like I leave the tray that my sprays live in. I leave all the binders I took stamps out. I leave all these things out, so all I got to do is chuck everything back in their boxes and put them on the shelves. So other than that, my table is cleaned off over there. I love mason jars. I have tons of them, but I thought this is a great opportunity to use them. So I've got this old Stampin' Up set. I don't know if that's still available or not. I've got this one from Michaels, which I bought it because I have an obsession with mason jar stamps, but really these aren't any different than other things I have, so I probably should have passed on it. I really like these three from Rubbernecker, and this is one I made myself with my Teresa Collins stamp machine thing. It's like a really old-fashioned ball jar, so I'm definitely going to use that one because it does stamp really well. And then I've just got like a Hero Arts stitching stamp that I pulled off. I pulled all those stitching ribbon ones off of the blocks because they didn't come unmounted back in the day, and they were really hard to line up when they were on their wooden blocks. So little tip there for you if you've got some old stamps that give you grief. So other than that, I might use some wax seals at the end to finish them off. I'm not sure, but let's get cracking with our projects. I've got a piece of cream cardstock down here. You can use white cream, any neutral, whatever you want to use is totally fine. And I've got this big background stamp. I'm going to use a variety of inks. I'm going to use the Crushed Olive Distress ink. I'm just going to kind of stamp it down randomly. And I'm going to use some of the Vintage Photo. And I'm not going to use the Distress Oxide right away because I want to make sure I don't contaminate my ink pad. I am basically just going to try to get an all-over pattern on my cardstock. I'm not going to worry if it skips at all. I'm just getting some color down. By the time we're done with it, we don't really have to worry so much about perfection. In fact, this is a great technique to get started with. I'm going to move these out of the way so I don't get stuff on them. This is a great technique to get started with because then you don't have to worry about perfection. Everything's going to be covered over, so if you're nervous to get going, you know, there's, oh, you can do it this way. I think it's better to put the paper on top. I don't know why I did that. It's just a great way to get going because there's no fear of messing it up when, who says it has to look this way or that way? I might have to go to a voiceover, guys. I feel like I'm completely incompetent about talking right now. This will be like a 2-hour-long video of making a batch of cards, but it's not sponsored, so I don't have to worry if I, you know, do anything awful. Not awful so much as just, you know, foolish. Let's just get a little bit right there in that last corner. And if I'm lucky, this backing paper will look awesome when I'm done, and I might even be able to get some more cards from it. Alright, okay, I think that looks alright. Now, the next thing I think I want to do is use some Distress Oxide and some stencils, just here and there. I do want to use some gelato and stencils too, but I think I'll start with this. Actually, I've got the sprays. Do I want to do that and do the sprays? I can do a little bit of it. Why not? That way I can direct where I want to put everything. I find stencils work better with sponges. I have the mushroom sponges from Local King, and I really like them, except you're not supposed to use the pigment inks on them unless you want to wash them, and I don't want to wash them, so I use my little chest ones. Although I don't know if it really, well, you'd have to wash them before you use them with the other kind, I think, would be the thing, because they would transfer. Mine not really playing very well. That's alright. This little doily type looking stencil I thought was kind of interesting. That's good. And then we can get out our gelatos, why don't we? Let's grab them all out, actually. So I'll probably do one with more purple tones and one with more coral tones, so I can have the different bases. Let's start off with a little bit of purple here. And I would recommend using a wet sponge, like a wet makeup sponge, or a baby wipe for this. Or an old rag that, you know, is damp. I generally don't use baby wipes. I just, see, if you just go over like that, it's not going to go through the holes, but then if you take a baby wipe and you rub it out, it will. I think I need a darker color though. Let's try this metallic. I hadn't bought baby wipes in years, but I did have a few instances where I had something real gross to clean and I had to throw away a cloth rag because it was so gross. I'm like, I really want to have a couple baby wipes around. I'm not using them that much though. Okay, I like that darker. The lighter color is definitely more pink. I don't think I'm going to use that one. And let's grab some green. Do the same thing. And when you use a baby wipe, it kind of wipes all of the excess off of the stencil. Now, a lot of people will gesso the paper and then they'll color over it with gelato. Then they'll wipe through the stencil with a baby wipe, and that's fine. It gives you a very similar effect, except it gives you the opposite effect. Instead of having the design in your color, you have white. The holes show up lighter and your design is left behind. But I like this because it uses way less and you don't have to gesso your paper, because that's another step. And you know, when I want to craft, I want to kind of get right to it. I love how, you know, you can get, just using a portion of a stencil, you can get a different look, so it doesn't look like, it just looks, you know, not like feathers anymore. It just looks like a kind of a random pattern. Look at how much, like, you can get. And you can do that with any water-soluble oil pastel that you have. It doesn't have to be gelatos, whatever you have, any sort of water-soluble media will be fine with that. Okay, geez, I used all 3 of my stencils. I am doing pretty well here, I think. So now, I'm just debating if I want to collage over this or not. I don't know. I don't think I really do, but I think I want to add a little bit of spray. I'm really curious as to if this is going to be... Oh my gosh, it works. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. I just kind of like I like that overall gold. It just makes everything kind of match, and it tones things down. Alright, so there is background number 1. I will be doing the other backgrounds in a very similar fashion, and we'll check back in after those are made. Alright, so I can't remember if it was this one or this one I did with you on camera, but essentially the same thing. I did one on craft paper here. I think I put a little too much gold in there because it really covered up a lot of the stamping and stenciling, but I still think it has a nice texture, and I'm considering embossing these. I'm not sure if right now I'm going to trim it down using my paper trimmer, and I'll probably go for 4 layering panels here. And I've been trying to find quiet times to film, but that hasn't been working out very well. So this one's going to be 5 1/4 by 4. They're all going to be that size. So I'm just going to go ahead, get these trimmed, decide whether I want to emboss them, and if I decide to emboss them, I will do that off camera because I keep my die cutter and embossing in the storage area. It's just a little easier for me to prep everything over there and then do my filming in here. So I'm going to trim these down and then we'll check back in. I decided to leave some of the panels flat because I just really like the way they looked, and I like that bit of sheen just on the flat surface. And they didn't curl too badly once I cut them down. And then some of them I did decide to chop down, like if I thought they were a little dull. And then I'm just going to kind of hit them with an ink pad just to kind of bring out some of the design from the embossing folder. Because on these that I decided to cut down, that I decided to emboss rather, I just felt they were a little bland. So I just think this will give them a little bit more interest. Now when you're using your embossing folders to emboss paper that you have like mixed media stuff like gelatos and things like that, it might dirty the embossing folder. So what you want to do is just take it like an old cleaning toothbrush and just you know, spray it down and just scrub it with the cleaning toothbrush, and then, you know, put a paper towel in there and fold it, or a rag, and that will take up the water and it'll get any of that crud. Gelatos really can make a mess. I also had to clean off my paper trimmer because I did get some, there were some thick passages of gelato that stuck. But I think by the time we're all done this, there isn't going to be any big bits of gelato that I'll have to worry about. So the other thing I did off camera, because it was very loud, you can probably hear the furnace going right now, is I stamped a bunch of different mason jars on vellum. In fact, I'm just going to move this out of the way because that's a little, I'll flip it over so you can see. I used that handmade one. I'll show it to you on white because it stands out a little bit more on white. I think that they're really pretty, and these might be a little too tall for these cards, but I did a bunch of different sizes, some smaller rubbernecker ones on Inkity-Kadoo, and I'm going to use those for some of the flowers on the cards. So let me get myself organized, and we'll start assembling some cards so you can kind of see how they go together. I'm going to try to decide here on the background color. So there's white, it's nice and bright. I've got a navy, kind of like denim color there. That's pretty too. I've also got that color. Actually, I think I like the purple. I thought the purple was going to be too dark, but I actually like that original purple. Of course, you can do whatever you like. I'm not going to stick it down yet because I might want to wrap ribbon around it, and I don't want it to be stuck down if I decide to do that. I am going to start, I think I'm going to use this sticker up here. Oh good, I'm so glad they're still sticky. Sometimes, if you don't use your stickers right away, they can get kind of gummy and messed up, and I don't want that. Let's see, I want it kind of like that maybe. I'm just going to try not to press too hard, just kind of let it sit there. And now I've got to figure out what I want to do for a jar. I think I'll probably use one of the lighter jars. Oh, I like that one. I will see what a blue one looks like too. Oh, I also like that style of jar. I have some of those in the white. I kind of like the blue though. Oh, decisions. I think the white looks better. Alright, so I think I am actually going to trim a little slit here. I've lost my scissors. I've lost my scissors, guys. Darn. Maybe I won't. I just had them here. I was just fussy cutting. So I'm thinking I'll put that there. There's also that pretty butterfly. I like that. I didn't end up using any pattern paper, but I kind of wonder if I want to maybe cut one of these out and tuck that in there somewhere. Maybe the little postmark with the butterfly. I kind of like that. Alright, I gotta find my scissors and I will be right back. I actually decided to get my postage stamped deco edge scissors for this because I thought that would be pretty cool looking, and I'm going to trim that out. Oh, I don't know, maybe it's not going to be as cool as I think. I don't want to like, I don't want to cut into any of the other ones though. They're so, oh, this might not have been a good idea because now I can't get. Alright, I'm going to cut around and then go in with the deco scissors. This is graphic 45 paper, people. You know, we don't want to waste any scraps of that. I've had this for so long. Let's see if we can see a date on it. I always think that's funny. Like, I find the date on these products because 2010. Not that old. Only what, 11 years? Oh well, you know what? It's I think vintage stuff is just kind of timeless anyway. So, well, wasn't I kidding you at the beginning of this video that, you know, it's going to seem like a 10-year-old card video? It really is. Funny because it's true, friends. There we go. Now I'm going to hit that with a little bit of ink. And I'm going to see if I can tuck that underneath my flower. Or I kind of, well, you know what, I think I'm going to go that way. Okay, I gotta get my, I think I might need to, you know what, no, I don't need to ink it more. I was thinking I might ink it more, but then I'm like, you know, I think that might make it a little too bold, and I like it when layers just kind of like meld together. I think that's pretty. Let's put that up there. Now we can put that. Is that how we're doing that? There. Now I want to cut a little slit into this so I can put the stem in it. So I'm going to lift that up a little bit. You know what, a knife would be better than my scissors for that. Hopefully I can just slice that. So when you stamp on vellum, you got to be careful because it's a little bit slicker than paper. But because of that, your ink will stay wet for a lot longer. You could probably use any ink for this. I use VersaFine Clair in like a gray color. And it worked really well. Oh, I should have gone higher with that though, because it doesn't want to fit. Oh, I could do a smaller. Yeah, I'll do a smaller one. Same thing. So I just ended up using the whole sheet of vellum because I have so much vellum. I decided that would be nice, and then I can have all those mason jars for other projects. I'll just put them in my, I have a bunch of just little envelopes, so I'll use that. Now, the trick with gluing down vellum is not having it show. So what I think I'll do is tie a ribbon around, and I'll make sure I put my adhesive underneath where the ribbon's going to pass. And that stem will actually tack it in place for right now. And I either want green, brown, or purple. Ooh, I like that brown. I like that green too. I think I like the brown. Let me try purple just to... Ooh, the purple's pretty as well. You know, I think I kind of like that purple. Oh, perfect. Just the perfect amount of ribbon there. Okay, so I'm going to go right there. So let me do a little strip of adhesive. Actually, you know what? You don't even really see it. I was afraid that it would be really strong, but you can kind of see where it's a little bit darker there. That's where the adhesive is. Now, you could coat the entire back of this with adhesive, like use a Xyron sticker thing or something like that, and that would work. That would be really pretty, but I don't have one of those, and I think I do have full sheet adhesive, but that's all the way in the other room, and I think this is just fine. Do I want that like that? Oh, do I want a thinner ribbon? Thinner might even look nice. Oh, there's so many choices. Let me try one. I've got a thinner one, this peach color. Let's try that. It would cover that. Ooh, I kind of like that. But I don't like it as much as a purple. I don't like it as much as a green. I did have some skinny green ribbon, but... Oh, right here. Why don't we try that? Yeah, I think that'll work out nicely. And I like to tie the ribbon on before I adhere the panel down, because then it'll look nice. Of course, I'm going to tie it on the front, so I could have just like cut a slit inside of the card and done it that way, but this just looks a little bit nicer. I think, oh, a tip for tying bows, turn it upside down. For whatever reason, I find that if I turn my card upside down before I tie a bow, it looks so much nicer. And you can pull it a little tight so the cardstock is just kind of starting to bow, but it should work itself out. So by the time you let go of your bow, it goes back to about normal. All right, I didn't ink the edges there, and I'm kind of, well, I didn't, and I'm going to leave it. That's fine. I've got my ribbon right over where I need it to be, so once I'm sure about that, I can go ahead and add my adhesive to the back, because I think anything else I'll be adding on this will be fine just to go on top. I don't plan on putting any brads in or anything. I just don't want to crush my sticker too badly. That's a pretty sticker. I mean, I don't think it looks like a Dollar Tree sticker. Not that there's anything wrong with a Dollar Tree sticker, but I don't think it looks like it was part of a dollar pack of stickers. I think it's wicked pretty. All right, I do like the idea of putting a little butterfly. I like to cluster elements, so I think that right there would be really nice. What else do we have? I don't have much room for. I always have these grand plans when I have all this like stuff going on, and then by the time I'm done, I really don't have that much going on. So let's see. Is there anything else I want to add? Maybe I won't add a lot to this. I mean, I guess some of these probably won't have a ton of embellishments. I think I'm gonna leave that one the way it is. I like that. All right, onward. Let's see. What's our next? What's the next card we want to make? Maybe we'll do one with a brown background. Let's see. We could do, I like the flat backgrounds quite a bit actually. Let's see, we've got that. What's the other sticker? The real goal was to use up the sticker sheets, so I haven't stamped any of the birds yet. I'm wondering if there's any of these I could use. Oh, I think that bouquet with a mason jar would look nice, but that's awfully heavy. I don't know if I want that on such a dark background. There's quite a few little bouquets I think could go in a mason jar. That one's really pretty. I think that might be better with a blue. I think that might be better. I was thinking I'd want the darker backgrounds for these, but maybe not. I want one with a coral undertones. See, that's got coral and it's got purple. Let's do that. That's really pretty. And let's see, where would I want this sticker to be? I'm really pleased that these are coming off the page okay. I was a little worried that they wouldn't. This is a little bird kind of flying up to the flower, so I think I might have to just snip that off. Yeah, it's a bird. I guess, like, is it a bird or a flower? Or Superman? I don't know. It's a bird. I do know that. Alright, so could we do a blue vase? I like the blue vase. Yes, we can. Do a little slit again for putting the stem through. Embossing on vellum is such a fun technique. I would highly recommend giving it a try if you never have. Especially if you do little things like vases or jars or, you know, things that you want to be see-through. All right. Ooh, I like that. I think that's really pretty. All right, so I don't know if maybe the adhesive might not even show up so much on the back of this because it's so dark. I'm just going to set it there for a second though because I'm not quite sure. Oh, and I think some of this can come out. Yep. I'm just talking to myself here, I realized. Okay, what else would be pretty with that? Oh, those are all so big. I love those little embellishments, but they're all so large. And I kind of hate to cover up the background when once I have done so much to it. I think I like it better that way. I like that. Alright, I'm just going to set that there for now. I could actually probably even add in some other flowers if I wanted to. It's quite pretty on its own though. What else is on this one? Oh, I can also add wax seals over the ribbon if I decide I want to do that. Oh, this is pretty. Oh, you know what I might be able to do? This is like a little newspaper rolled up with some flowers. I could tuck that there and kind of start to stick down the jar with that. Hopefully I don't have sometimes you have to worry if you have a lot of gelato in the background that it might keep things from, like stickers from sticking, like that sticker. I haven't really pressed it down either. I should just press it down. Because it has a little bit of a waxy finish, it could prevent things from sticking. So you want to, the nice thing about going over it with an acrylic spray like the Marabou is that it will kind of seal things in and help that, help it stick a little bit. Oh, there's like little postcards in there too. That's cute. I kind of think I want like a postmark stamp on here. I don't know if I want ribbon, but I feel like I need something else to tack that side down. I wonder. Is that too much? Kind of, well, maybe not. I like that. It's from the other sticker set, but there's enough overlap. And then I'll notice that too, if I have like stickers from the same brand, a lot of times there's enough overlap that they will work together. I haven't even figured out what color I want to do for the background of this either. So I'm going to get that postmark stamp, I'm going to get some cardstock, and we'll go from there in just a second. I am going to ink the edges just really gently with this Vintage Photo Distress ink pad. And then I'm going to use Ranger Archival in brown to stamp the postmark because I'm just afraid if I don't, then it might rub off, especially with all the gelato in there. So you just got a piece of fun foam there. I couldn't find my stamping mat. And I think Archival will be more likely to dry on this than the VersaFine Clair. So this is a foam mounted stamp. You gotta check, make sure you don't get any ink on the edges. And I like that it just says February 25th. It's very generic. And you can't even really see what it says, but it does add a little bit of character. Boy, my stickers aren't really sticking very well. I might have to tuck a little glue under there. Yeah, I better do that just to be safe. Of course, now that I'm looking to, it doesn't want to come up. And while I'm at it, I'll put some glue on the back side of that vellum too, just to give it a little extra anchoring. Whoa. Underneath the back of that sticker too. Oh, I have the worst time with glue. Could be this cheap glue. But it doesn't seem to matter whether I spend a lot of money on glue or not. I always seem to struggle with glue. I could have just peeled this back and done my stamping, and that would have made more sense than trying to sneak it in there, but that's okay. I could do a little bit of ribbon down the edge. I'm going to cover that ink pad before I make a mistake. I've got some pretty teal. This is seam binding. I buy it by the roll. It's by the company Hug Snug. And I just use like spray inks or liquid watercolor or dye ink, whatever, to color it. And I try to color it so it's very uneven, and then I just scrunch it up in a ball and let it dry. I like to do that in the summer when it's warm outside, and then it's so pretty on cards. I don't use it for like jewelry unless I use a fabric dye with soda ash, because this will wash out if it's just like a craft ink. Oh, I didn't oh shoot, I'm getting glue on myself. I am going to retie that bow and then glue that down to the card base. Alright, I retied my bow and adhered it down to a craft card base, and I'm going to put a wax seal on there. I've got some pretty ones from Altenew. This one says hello, so I thought that would be great because it will serve as a sentiment on my card. And if you want to get into wax seals, there are literally any version, any theme. I just got some beautiful Harry Potter wax seals for Christmas. I really wanted them. I was so excited to get them. After buying a set for my sister for her birthday, I had told my family that I really wanted them, and they ordered me a set. You can get these little assortment packs of waxes online. You can get ones that look like this, or you can get ones that look like this. You just like light a candle and you drip it. You just light the end of the wick and you just drip it on your project, which can be convenient. But if you want to kind of get a bunch ready at once, so you don't have to just sit there and hold it, you can like take a candle like I did and just put a piece of wire, make a little wire holder for it, and then use one of these little metal scoops, and you can melt these beads, and you can get assortments very inexpensively, so that way you can kind of figure out what you like, and then if there's colors you use more than others, you can buy them in a bigger container like this. So I like this. I thought I'd mention it. And literally, like, if you're into Star Wars, you can find Star Wars wax seals. If you're into, you know, Harry Potter, you can find Harry Potter ones. If you're into, you know, whatever, you can find wax seals to go with it. So I think that's kind of cool. So I think I want my wax seal to be up here kind of near that postmark. I think that would look cute. Or I could have it there. And that, well, you know what, it might look cuter there because it'll be kind of clustered. I just have to make sure I'm going to have enough room and it's going to be flat where I can rest the stamp. I used 4 beads there because I want to have a little bit of a rim around it. If you just want to get a little impression, you could use 2, but you want 3 or 4 if you want to get a good a good rim. And also when you're doing this, you often don't get all of the wax. Oh, actually that all came out pretty well. Make sure if you've got a word that you've got it the right way. And then the weight of that will kind of keep it up. So let's say you want to change color and you still have some in there. What you can do is you can pour the extra wax into a silicone mold. So that's what I do. I just keep one of these little silicone molds handy. It's actually really pretty. It looks like a flower there. But I can pop that right into my little container. This is one of the Altenew waxes. I can just pop it right in here. Next time I need to use it, I'll just melt it in there. For that matter, you could just pour it in there, but this is a plastic case. You could end up melting it, and it's just a lot easier just to pour it into a silicone mold. So that will save your money because the wax seals can be a little expensive. You can use hot glue for the seals, and you can get hot glue and glitter and colors. So you can definitely do that if you don't want to get into buying the seals. That works just as well. So, you know, have fun with it. It's so fun. I got my first wax seal when I got married, you know, 20 years ago, and for my invitations, it was just a tiny little thing of a W for my, you know, be my married last name. And I just love it. I think it just gives such a romantic flair to things. So there you go. So you do have to kind of let it cool before you remove it. So you don't want to remove it too quickly. I think I want to add another one of these guys, maybe this little butterfly, but I am going to put a dot of glue on it just because of the issues. For some reason, those lighter flowers, they didn't seem to want to stick. But you can use just a little drop of glue, and the sticker part of it will be sticky enough just to kind of clamp it in place. Do I want to? Maybe even overlap. I love overlapping things, so if I can overlap that ribbon, I think that will look good. All right, can I remove it? Yeah. Oh, I love it. So this one is by Altenew. I'll try to link up what I can. Those would be still available, I'm pretty sure. They don't discontinue their products too quickly. But these, I mean, you have to go to Dollar Tree for those. Oh, and you know what I saw at Dollar Tree that was kind of cute? They have epoxy stickers of mason jars that you could use instead of like stamping and cutting them out. They're small, so they'd actually be really perfect with those stickers. In fact, I should find mine and try it. That'd be fun. Why don't I do that? Alrighty, I did find those stickers. Aren't they cute? And there was also a set of bottles, and they're right here. I'll show you. Those would work really well too, especially for some of those smaller stickers or smaller stamps that you might have. So I don't know if your Dollar Tree has these, but mine does. Brewer, Maine is the one where I picked these up. So if you're in the area, there you go. Otherwise, you know, sometimes you have to go to a couple, but if your Dollar Tree has one of the crafter square sections, they seem to have a better selection of products. So I'm going to put this little label down. I decided to go ahead and just trim out all of those little labels from that Graphic 45 paper, and I'm just going to put it in with my collage bin because they're real cute, and I'm definitely more likely to use them if they're already cut out. So I gotta decide which one of these. I like the green bottle. I kind of don't love that it's got a lid on it, so I think I'll do a little sticker surgery here and just kind of trim the inner part of the lid so it looks like it just has the band on it and not the lid part itself. Not that I don't know if anyone would have noticed that, but I do. So I'm just going to kind of stick that in like there. These are translucent too, which is kind of pretty. Oh, I think that's adorable. I can go lower because you can see through it. So I'm going to stick it right there, overlapping the Once Upon a Springtime because you can read through it. Not that you really need to. It's just ephemera. And I do want to make sure I might even, well, that seems to be stuck pretty good. I might just put a dab of glue because when you have an embossed panel like that, it can want to be tricky to stick because there's too many layers to marry up with the adhesive. So I'm just going to give it a little dab of glue there. Doesn't matter if I spend, you know, $3 for $1 on my glue or I spend, you know, $10 for a glue. I don't get on well with glue unless it's like hot glue for some reason. I'm like a brute force type of person apparently. Alright, now I'm going to give this a little, I don't know if I want a bow or just a knot or what. I do like bows. I think they're kind of like, they're just kind of nice. And they give you a nice texture and they're kind of romantic, but a little knot would work really well too. I think I might just have it overlap the bottom of that so it gives it a little place to sit. Trying Turn it upside down to do the bow, because that just makes it look better for whatever reason. I don't know why. It seems to make the tails hang down when I do it upside down. Your experience might be different. Hey, that looks pretty cute. All right, and I want to use another wax seal. I'm going to adhere that down first. This is really simple. I try, you know, it actually ends up looking pretty clean and simple, even though I've got such a mess and I've gotten out so many products. You know, it never seems to look like all the effort I've put into it. Let me know if you have that same experience. There we go. So now I've got to figure out where I want my wax seal. I could have it down here. I could have it up here overlapping. I really think, here it will look pretty cute. I got to be careful not to seal my card shut because I kind of misscored it. You see how I've got a little reveal? Actually, it makes it easier to open, so that's not a mistake. I intended it. That's what I'm going to say. I think I'll do it there. Maybe a little bit lower. I think that would be really cute. All right, and I actually chopped off the end of one of my wax seals to get that. I hope it's all melty. I don't need all of that. That should be sufficient. Okay, I want to make sure my thanks is right side up. Oh, gonna get a nice good frame around that. Now, something you can do if you live in a warmer climate or you want to do a bunch of the same wax seal over and over again is you can have a bag of ice sitting on your table, and then you just can set the seals on a bag of ice so that they will release quicker when you, so you could just like basically pick it right back up. And some people actually make their wax seals on a silicone mat and then just store them and then glue them on when they want to. But I like this. I like just kind of melting it on. Plus, you know, my glue situation. Maybe I'll add, I wonder how this sticker would look. Oh, I think that's kind of cute. I'm going to put a few dabs of glue. I think that's kind of cute. It gives it a little like frame, kind of balances with the ribbon down below. I love stickers. I always love stickers, even as a kid, but as far as crafting with stickers, like scrapbooking or card making, I always seem to like have a hard time making them go. So starting off with the stickers being the focal point rather than being like an add-on at the end, I think has really helped me be able to, oh, that's so cute, be able to do that. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? Oh, this is going to be cute, I think, I hope. Let's do a paint pen over thanks. And I've got this purple, I think this one's metallic. I think that'll be really cute. Let's zoom in. I don't know why I'm zooming in. I've never done this before, but I've seen it on TV. I saw it on YouTube once. I'm sure it'll be great. I have like the worst penmanship in the world, so if I can just like keep this on the raised areas, it's gonna look like I'm super talented. Don't tell anybody, Kay. You're inside. We're all insiders here. You know I can't, you know, write things nice. No, I say can't. I have not invested the time to learn it properly. Oh man, that's cute. I love it. What do you think about that? How do you like them apples, friends? All right, I'm gonna put her around and make some more cards. If I do anything interesting, I'll turn the camera back on. How's that sound? Here's something that is different. I haven't done on a card yet here today. I'm just going to take this stitched stamp. Now, of course, you can just use a pen and you can doodle this. You don't need to have a stamp, but sometimes having a stamp, you get a little bit more of a random organic look to it, which may be what you want, may not be what you want, but I like it. I love that little bit of thrill of like, oh, I might ruin my project. You know, I know that's probably not that, that's probably not what a lot of people want, but I'm just like, I love that little, that what will happen, you know, if I do this. So that would be a tip, and my head's probably in the way. But I also recommend that if you've got a stamp that's on a wooden block and it just doesn't work for you being on a wooden block, peel it off and put some Aleene's Tack over and over again on it, or put some like whatchamacallit, put it on some easy mount, easy block stuff so that you can put it on a clear block and make it work for you. I mean, it doesn't have to stay on that wood block. There's nothing precious about that. And same thing is if you have a stamp and you know you would be much better off if it was on a wood block, then put it on a wood block. I mean, it's your stamp. You can do whatever you want. I need to mask off the edge. I want to mask off the border. Why the heck can't I find a Post-it note in this joint? I just had them yesterday. Well, I got some Post-it. I did just seriously have... Oh, you know what I'm thinking of Post-it notes I have upstairs. Never mind. Oh boy, I want to mask that right there. I just don't want it going off the edge for some reason. It's not that I'm perfect. I've got an aesthetic I'm going for. Now I've got a stitch in my hand to look like Frankenstein. I'm just going to try to... Man, my head's going to be in the way. Can't do anything about it. Sorry. There we go. I like that. Ooh. Hey now. Look at that. I thought this was going to be a kind of a dumpster card, but that's actually pretty nice. And I think the hello stands out really well, but you could do the purple marker trick if you wanted to with that. I'm not going to. I really like that way it looks. I think it's elegant. I think it needs like a little bee or butterfly. I don't know if I have any. Oh, I got a bee. Let's use that. I'm mixing and matching my sticker books, my sticker sets. Maybe we'll perch him right up there because he's got a little bit of an outline that I'm not crazy about, I gotta say. So let's just, there we go. Perch him right up there. I think that's awfully cute. What do you think? Onward, friends. You can also mix colors if you're using the wax seals. I'm going to add some copper to that greenish color. I think it'll be a pretty kind of patina looking thing. So, oh, right there. I'm going to add 2 little copper bits to there. I think that'll be real cute. This could be a nightmare if this spilled. FYI. And then I was looking at, I had to pull this out for actually this side of the paper, but then I'm looking at this and I think this would work really well with the next card I'm going to make. So I'm just going to trim that out. You don't have to be perfect because we're going to do a little distressy on the edgy of this bad boy. You can use the blade on your scissors for this, but that's not as safe as the little thing I'm going to show you. That is if I can find it. It's in the Post-it note drawer, so, you know, who can say what will be in there. It's this thing right here. It's an edge distresser. I know Tim Holtz makes them. You might have one from another brand. It does not matter. I'm sure these are not available anymore. This is the old Heidi Swap one. I've had it for probably 10 years. But you know what? Tools are tools are tools. They're going to be the same. They always repackage them. Just, you know, if you like something, keep it. If you like your decorative edge scissors, yeah, you're bummed that you gave yours away now, aren't you? Now you see the cool things you can do with them. I'm not a big fan of hoarding. I'm not a big fan of like holding on to all kinds of things, but for things that are kind of timeless that will come back, I feel like there's nothing new. I have been stamping for 20 years and everything comes back, and more lately I've been enjoying using my oldest of the old supplies because they're fresh again, and then you start to see, I'm not going to use my archival pad for that because I don't want to get debris in the pad. I'm not so picky about my distress pads. They can be a hot mess. Yeah, I just feel like, you know, everything comes back around, so, you know, why get rid of it so that you can rebuy it? I don't get it. Okay. I know this doesn't look like it's going to go. I know. It will be fine. Trust me. I know it looks sketchy. I could do a little spray on that. What I'm planning, I'm going to use one of these bottles. Probably that one right there. I'm going to use a bouquet of flowers. I kind of do want to grunge it up a bit. Let's do this coral spray. I've heard you're not supposed to shake up and down. You're supposed to kind of like ring it like a bell, like kind of go back and forth so it doesn't clog. I don't know if that really does anything. And by the way, I'm just going to spray this over my trash can because I don't want to get it all over everything. I mean, geez, you know that. You could probably guess that. Now, I'm just going to blot. That dries pretty fast. You could do fancy things to it. You could dry it and then add a little flick of water. I don't know how it's going to work on this paper. This paper is not very, it's very soft. Let's just give it a little. I have like literally have a bottle of water, a cup of water over there. Why didn't I just pick up my paintbrush? And I don't know if that's really going to give me an effect. Because the paper's so soft, you get your better effect on paper that's got a little more sizing on it. Actually, I shouldn't really heat up on that cutting mat because it will buckle it a little bit. Yeah, that's not really doing anything. It's alright though. It'll look fine. Okay, let's put a little adhesive on the back. You would not believe my table. It is covered every square inch except for this little tiny patch where I'm working. do that. Let's do, oh, you know, we got to figure out where our bouquet is going to go. So our bouquet is going to go there and cover up our crown, because we're fabulous enough, we don't need a crown. And then we're going to get a bottle of our little stickers. I think I'll go with that one right there. And we're going to stick that down right there. And now I am going to tie, I think I'll do some pink ribbon. I think that will look really cute. Ooh, do I have any pink ribbon? I've got coral. We can do, I think the coral will look good. That'll look good with that coral spray, because I put the spray. When I picked everything out to use today, I chose things that, I kind of just picked the first things that would go together, so I just didn't get overwhelmed. And this works. This will work together. So I'm just going to tie that in a bow. And we'll do a little wax seal. Oh, you know what? Yeah, this will be fine. I can do my wax seal over there. I was just thinking, where am I going to put the wax seal? And I might do a coral card base, because I think that would also look pretty snazzy. I like those pops of color. I know, like vintage, you know, you want craft or cream, you know, keep it safe. I don't like safe though. I like to, I mean, safe is fine, because then, you know, you can take out a little guesswork, but it's nice to go bold and to do something a little unexpected. So hopefully I have a coral card base. I pre-chopped a bunch of card bases. Oh, this one of these looks coral. Ah, there we go, that's coral. I pre-chopped a bunch. Actually, I didn't like the cardstock when I bought it. It was a Parkleen, available at Joann's, and it had a white core and it would crack if you didn't score it right. But now that I've got the hang of scoring it so it doesn't crack, I really like it. I don't know if I'd buy it again, but I bought like a pack of every color scheme they had, so I'll be in that cardstock for years. So maybe I will rebuy it. Sometimes that happens, like I'll buy something, I'll regret it, so I'll force myself to use it up, and then by the time I'm done using it up, I like it. Alright, now I'm going to probably want, I think I want my wax seal there, but I think I want something else there. Let's see what we got. Ooh, I like this little flower cluster, because it has a nice, I wonder if, no, I don't want them touching. Kind of nestle it. Oh, there's a bird in there. Let's make it so the bird's upright. Put that right there. I'm going to do, let's see, what do I want for a seal? Do I want to do maybe I'll do a flower this time. Yeah, why not just do a flower? Or there's also a letter, but I like that for the outside of my lips. I think that would be cute. Now, I don't know if that's swirled enough, but I think it'll be cute. Let's just pour that and see. Is it hot enough? It's not really moving very well. It's moving very slowly. I wonder if the pellets take longer to melt compared to the sticks. Ooh, I kind of feel like I want to heat that up a little bit more, but I would get it closer to the flame. Oh my gosh, it's like sticking to the thing. I'm going to see if I can scrape some of that out with my little silicone hot glue tools. Maybe I can. Oh man. I don't know, guys. I'm making a mess. This. Yeah, I should have let that. Yeah, now it's cold. It's dried on my silicone tools. Alright. I hope I have enough in there to just get an impression. Now, I'm not going to get any. I don't have any border on this. I didn't have enough wax. But I think it'll be alright with this type of design because it's just a flower. And I think it'll be cute. So, we'll let that cool. Is there anything else we want to add to that? I feel like this one is super plain looking and it's kind of a bummer. Maybe I have something in my resin. My resin stash. Sometimes it's really hard to... oh, like this is a faux wax seal made with hot glue and a rubber stamp. So you can use your rubber stamps too. I definitely do the, so you can see how it's just glue on the back and I painted it. It was just a peg stamp of fleur-de-lis. So you can do that. Just make sure you ink up your stamp with either pigment ink or embossing ink. And it wouldn't hurt to put them on a bag of ice to make sure they're super cool when you set it down, just so it doesn't take so long to, oh, maybe that. Oh, that little cameo was really pretty. That was made with Martha Stewart clay, I think. Oh, or I got a photo corner. Oh my gosh, I got a sticky resin photo quarter. I don't want to unstick. If I had 2 of them, that would look really cute. Do I? Oh, I made those flowers out of Martha Stewart clay. Those are cute too. I have so many things I have just never used that I've made. I like making embellishments, but I forget to use them. I don't know. They look kind of gaumy now that I look at them. Alright, let's see if we can move this. Yeah, it's vaguely a plant. But you know what? Maybe I'll just stick that little, I don't know. Could reheat it and glue it down. I could glue that cameo down with a little bit of that wax. Let's see. Let's see if that'll work. Why not? I bet it would, because this Martha Stewart clay is really lightweight. There, why not? I still feel like it's missing something, but I don't know what else to throw at this thing, to be honest. I don't know. I'm not loving that. Actually, that's gaudy, but I do kind of love it. That might be alright. I feel like I need a leaf too. I don't know if I have any small leaves. My leaves are pretty gaudy. Maybe just a gaudy leaf. Maybe a gaudy leaf is what I need. Okay, it's the next day. I've just come back, and this is the card that was drawing when I left yesterday. I don't like how dark this is. It just looks too samey, and so I had these leftover pieces cut off from when I took my big sheets of paper and chopped them into the card panel sizes. So of course you cut some off because you want to leave a border for your card base. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to use those strips to make a little border. I'm going to use my double-sided adhesive here so I don't have to deal with wet glue, because I'm glue challenged. And I'm just going to kind of nestle them in and see if I can get them. I actually want to cut some of the bottom off of this because I prefer the little bit of pink that's up there. So let's see if I cut that much off, it will work. And I'm just going to try to fit it in around the... Oh, I might have cut too much off there. Oh, no, maybe it's alright. I'm just going to, kind of butt them up or overlap them. Look at that. I think that's really cute. Actually, I'll just cut that. Well, I don't know. What should I do? Should I cut it like that? Yeah, that'll probably make more sense, and then the other one can overlap that. This is such a fiddly project, but I am fully enjoying it. I hope the cards are cute when they're done, because sometimes you're you do a project and you think, oh, these are going to be so beautiful, and then you get them done and it's like, oh, that's lackluster. I hope they're not going to be lackluster. Let's figure out how long. Actually, this one I might need to get that one the whole length. I'll see if I can do that. Because the panel and back's embossed, it does give me a little bit of leeway as far as, oh yeah, that's gonna work. I like the shimmery gold. I love the texture of these, of the backgrounds. I definitely think the cream was the way to go over the craft, because the craft you just lost so much color because you're already starting with a brown. But some people might prefer that, so hey, you get to see both ways and you can decide what you like best. And I want to do a little bit down here as well. I thought about getting the old, oh shoot, you know what? I don't think I can go. That's going to be a problem because I glued that little thing down, but maybe I can notch it out. Let's see, maybe I can just make like a little notch to account for that cameo there. Well, something like that. You get the picture. I'm going to fiddle with that a little bit. That would actually be a really good place to put a sentiment. Maybe I'll just put a sentiment there. That might be the way to go. I keep all of my sentiments, well, not all my sentiments, but my favorite sentiments, in a little tray next to like in my card cart, so that I can always whip up a card really quickly, even if I don't have all my stamps in here. And I really like this With Appreciation from the Stank set that I have from Ink-a-Dink-a-Doo, I think it is. And I just love how it's going to fit the thing perfectly. And I think I'm actually going to go with black, because I'm afraid that the brown there, the sepia, is not going to be dark enough to show up, and I really want this to stand out. I like a script. I think it looks kind of vintagey. So I just took that same piece that I notched out, so I didn't waste it, and I just cut it and just made little thingies on the end there. And I just gotta let that dry. I'm gonna use foam squares for this, because that'll give it a little bit of prominence, and then it'll make it not look weird that this frame doesn't go all the way down. You know, so if you gotta change something up like I did because that was in the way, you know, just don't try to force it, just try to go in a different direction. Now let's see, is that, oh, that's dry already, awesome. So that would be my tip there. You can always use a heat tool as well if you're afraid that it's not fully dry. I usually just touch it with my finger and see if any of the ink transfers. Alright, my gosh. I feel like almost everything I've used today has been like super duper old, except for the Quetzalcraft background. Not super duper, I mean that's relative. I think I got those Distress Oxide sprays like a year and a half ago or something. That's pretty recent. I just want to center it. Let's see. Yeah, I think I want to overlap that little edge. So it's something different. Like the other ones go under, and this is going to overlap. So it won't be so apparent, hopefully. Oh, it's a little crooked, but... So hopefully it won't be that noticeable that it is, it's different. I mean, it's different like it's supposed to be different, you know. With Appreciation. I might do more to this, but I think that just breaking up that dark, all that dark color, this dark green and with the dark pink with that background, I think just putting in this other texture, and it was just scraps. I mean, that would have probably ended up thrown away. I feel like that really makes a card a lot better than how it was before. So there's another tip for you. If you're just unhappy with how much of one color you have, try see if you can break it up with some strips or maybe some ribbon or anything like that that could just kind of, maybe washi tape or something that can just give you a little contrast, because usually if you got too much of one color, you just need some contrast. I really wanted to use this set of, oops, you can't even see the thing. This set of rubber stamps that I purchased, oh my gosh, probably a couple of years ago from Hero. I don't know why I showed you that, doesn't even help you. This is what it looks like stamped out. It's one of the layering sets, and you've probably seen me struggle with layering sets before, but on my third try here, I was really happy with the way it came out. I'm going to try to replicate it for you, because I do have a couple tips that maybe you haven't seen before for layering stamps. I don't have a stamp positioner. A friend of mine had made me a homemade one, and it was great, but I couldn't find it, so I thought I'm just going to wing it with a bird, get it? So the first thing I want to show you is double coloring, double inking up a stamp. So we're doing this base layer for the bird, and I want it to look like a robin, so I'm doing this kind of, this is Ginak Tomato Soup. It's a nice kind of like mild orange. And then I'm using Hero Art Soft Brown, which is kind of like a taupe color, and I don't want to contaminate this soft brown color, so I am inking up the stamp and I'm not letting it overlap the red, but I don't want to have a gap in between the colors, and I don't want those harsh lines. Can you see that? Let me bring this paper up. Can you see how there's kind of like some harsh lines there, like from the red from the edge of the stamp pad? Well, I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is take this little ink dauber, and this one is just a cheap Doris foam ink dauber. You could use whatever you have. A makeup wedge would work fine, even. And I'm inking it up with a soft brown, and I'm just going to pounce on the stamp where the two colors meet until I don't see any of those harsh lines anymore, and I've got a nice blend. So if I set that there, you can see, hopefully you can see, I can see that it's a nice soft blend. It can be kind of tricky because it's transparent ink, transparent stamp, transparent block. So this is the base layer, and I have the easiest time if I stamp the base layer first on these stamps. Some people do the darker layer and work that way, but I just have the easiest time doing the base layer first. Do what's easiest for you, because they're transparent. The inks are transparent. These are dye-based inks, so they're transparent. So you're not, it doesn't matter which one you do first and which one you do last because you'll see through all the layers. The other issue I see, and this is where I think a MISTI comes in handy, is that a lot of times people don't let the stamp, they don't give the stamp enough time to let the ink transfer from the rubber to, or the photopolymer, whatever the stamp's made out of. They don't give enough time to let the stamp transfer from the stamp to the paper. So that's why I just kind of jibber jabber here while I'm doing that. You got to give it time to transfer. And you also want to work on top of like a squishy surface. I probably could have pushed a little bit harder there, but I don't think it's gonna matter because our other layers are going over that part where the ink kind of skipped. But we've got a nice solid coverage. Other than that, I think it's gonna be fine. Okay, so the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to use a medium brown. This is Rich Cocoa. It's kind of medium to dark brown. And see how dye inks are all very, very similar. You can mix and match. So I'm using 3 different brands here and it's going to work fine. So I just want to make sure I give this a good overall inking. And I'm going to have to apologize because my head's going to get in the way. But what I want to do is I want to line up the beak and I want to line up the tail. And sometimes you have to do a test run before you can see exactly how it goes. Like here on this first one, I wasn't sure how to line it up because I'd never used it before, and I didn't have the tail lined up. So what I did was I just took a brown marker and I filled it in, a really pale brown marker. So the next time I did it, I could do it better, and even the third time I did it, I inked it up much better and lined it up because I'm used to it. So don't expect your first, I'm just going to re-ink this in case my ink dried. Don't expect your first time with a layering stamp to go perfectly. It's very easy to get frustrated. So I'm going to line up the beak and the tail. I have to stick my head in there and look straight down on it. And if you're doing multiples of this, definitely using a stamp positioner like a MISTI would be handy. I hope I've got that lined up well. Again, I'm going to give it a good push, and I'm going to give it time for the ink to transfer. So that's another reason, like you could lay the stamp directly on top of the your image and then close the door of a MISTI and do it that way. But as you can see, my table's really crowded. So, well, you probably can't see, but if this was zoomed out, you'd see my table. Well, hey. Woo! It's crowded. I probably wouldn't even have room to put a MISTI on my table. Alright, let's lift that up. So it's not perfect, but that's alright. So when that happens, all you have to do is find a marker that's similar in color, and I'll just go in and I will fill it in a little bit. It's not a big deal. You could also take like a blending marker and pick up the ink right from your ink pad and do that. Tombow and Stampin' Up! Make clear blending markers. It just has water and glycerin in it, and you can use that to pick up your ink and fill in if you make a mistake. Of course, I always try to do, like when I'm demoing something, I try to do it perfectly, but oftentimes when I don't do it perfectly, that's when you learn kind of how you get away, because I rarely stamp things another time. I'm making multiple cards, so I'm stamping a few of these, but generally, I mean, you learn all these different little tricks to to help you out. So now I need to line up the beak and the wing. So again, I gotta get my head in the way, and I apologize, because you want to look straight down. Hopefully that's lined up. Again, give it time to transfer. And there we go. So if you had an area like the highlight lined up perfectly here on that eye, but if it doesn't, like there, it's a little sloppy. So I'm going to take a darker brown marker here. I have a video coming up. It's all about water-based markers. And then if there's anything else that you just want to tidy up, you can do that with a darker marker. You could also draw the feet on. I'm not stamping the feet here because I'm going to cut these out and put it on a card. So if I'm going to stamp the feet, I'll just stamp it over the background. So I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut out these birds, and then we'll see you back in a bit. I just cut this out, and I want to share a tip with you. When you are done fussy cutting by hand, you know, as in not using a die cutter, take a marker similar to the color that you stamped with and hit the edges, and that's going to just make it'll make your cutting look better, and mine needs all the help it can get. I'm just using this really light kind of taupe color to get all the edges. You can also do any place that the ink skipped. I noticed on this stamp there's like a little speckle on the belly. All of my images kind of had that, so I could touch that up with a similar colored marker. It doesn't bother me, but if it bothered you, you certainly could do that. Also, if your stuff didn't line up very well and you lost a sparkle in the eye, you could use a white gel pen to bring that sparkle back if you wanted to. So I'm going to use this panel, which is one of the ones we made so long ago. I don't know how long this video is, but I feel like it's probably 3 hours. I'm going to use a dark brown ink pad here to stamp a nest. I'm using a pigment ink, VersaFine Clair, because I know it's going to sit on top of the paper and stand out. Hopefully it'll stand out over all the other things we have going on in the background. And put my little piece of fun foam there. This stamp is from Impression Obsession. It's from this stamp set right here, which I showed you at the beginning of the video. I'll see if there's, oh, I don't see a name. Home Sweet Nest, CL271, if you're curious. I don't know if it's still available. I think I bought it on clearance, to be honest. Now I could heat emboss this if I wanted to. That's just completely up to you. Now something else I thought that would be kind of cute is to maybe have like a bird cage in the background. Although, you know, these are wild birds, so maybe that's kind of bad to put the bird cage there, but just like aesthetically, I think it would look really cute, like kind of like that. So I'm going to grab another Stampin' block. And I think I'll just do it in that same color. I was going to do black, so it looked kind of like wrought iron, but I think this is dark enough. And when in doubt, recycle your colors so that you have, you know, cohesiveness. I'll have to test to see if this dries. If it doesn't seem like it wants to dry, then I'll just heat set it. I don't think I need to emboss it. Usually heat setting will do the trick if you got, this paper wouldn't be a problem to use pigmented ink on, but where I have the acrylic spray, that gold was an acrylic spray, I'm just afraid that that it might not want to dry on me. My heat tool is not plugged in right now, but I'll just touch it and see. Yeah, I did get a little ink transfer, so I'll definitely want to heat set that. So now I want to figure out how, like, where my bird's gonna go. I could put them right on the nest, although if I was going to do that I should swap them around because otherwise the tail would hang off the end. I could do a branch. There's a branch stamp where I could just freehand one on there. Oh, you know what? I'm really regretting not. Let's do one where I do opposite because I can come back to that. I can do I have another light panel that's not embossed? Yes, let's try this. Let's do it opposite. We'll use that for something. We'll use that for one of the other birds. Maybe we'll do something. Let's do it the other way. That's the nice thing about having a bunch of backgrounds is that you can experiment. I could have painted all of these cards in so much less time that it's taking me to stamp them. Oh, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Alright, so let's put our nest right there. Remember, give it plenty of time to transfer from the stamp to the surface. And let's do our bird cage. Are you guys crafting along? I'd love to know. I can't imagine you're sitting there and just watching this whole thing without having something else going on. I think I'll probably put a branch on the other one. Give it plenty of time. And you probably see me shake. I am giving it some decent pressure here to make sure that it contacts really well. I can't remember who did. I think it was like TCP Studio or something. It was from Joann's. Alright, and gosh, heat embossing might actually look kind of cool. Hey, why not? Where's our clear? We just had that. Let's give that a whirl. Although you don't have to see this. I'm going to heat emboss this. I'll be back in a minute. Alright, let's put this bird card together. I'm going to start by adhering this onto my card base because I want to do a little of that stitch stamping, and it's a lot easier to do the stitch stamping when you've got this on the base already, especially if you want it to look like you're stitching over both the layer of the background and the base layer. Because I don't want to heat this again, I'm going to use archival ink and my stitch stamp. I don't think it'll be, I think that'll be good. I don't think the brown would show up enough, but I think the black will be good. And apologies for my head getting in the way, but with such a thick block especially, I need to kind of look down through it. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, I don't really want it to be perfect. I kind of like that. Do I want a little on the top? I think so. I think I want a little on the top. There. I like that. I just think it gives it a little something. You don't have to do it, obviously. It's if you don't like it, don't do it. I'm also probably going to draw a branch on, but first I want to see where I want my bird to go. I think I want my bird like that on the nest. I also have some, I already went ahead and put some 3 3D stickerums on the back. I also have some teal markers, some like aqua and teal, kind of like robin's egg blue colors, so I can color in the eggs. And I'm going to use one of these stickers also. Why don't I just go in and draw a little branch. I don't have a stamp for the branch, but it's like, man, it's just, sometimes it's just easier to go in and draw it. Make it go off the edge too. And I can use like a lighter brown. I probably should go a little bit darker than that, but, and maybe I will. Let's get that sticker in there and see how that looks. Look at that, we're almost done now. I think I've just about used up the entire purple. I just don't want, I might have to do some sticker surgery here. I think I want it coming off the branch. I think I'm gonna have to do some sticker surgery. I'm gonna let it overlap the mat just a little bit. I'll just snip that so it's flush with the card. Oh, I got foam sticky on my scissors. That's why it doesn't want to cut. Oh, right, maybe draw a few more little branches. You could draw the little bird legs in there, but I really don't think that, I think it's kind of be perched on the nest and it wouldn't really be shown. And then let's do the eggs in the nest. I'm going to my darkest color first. Then I'm going to go in with a little bit of a lighter color. And I will probably color the nest as well. I'm not sure about what I want to do for a sentiment. I think I'll probably want something up there. And I have other little die cuts too I could add. I could even add some bird stickers or something around the top of that as well. Oh, that's a little too much. Sometimes it's okay just to let it be too. You don't have to decide right away, you know, what else you want to put on the card. You can let it sit and then you can put a sentiment on it later. I'm going to finish coloring that, I think. I might use, actually, I'll probably use alcohol markers because that'll stick on top of everything else that I have. I'm just reaching behind me, grabbing a couple alcohol pens at random from my stash. I'm all over going with this one. This one is actually not long for this world. I've gotten rid of almost all of this brand because they just didn't hold up. And I can see right now that that is just about headed. It's a nice thing about the alcohol markers though, it will stick on top of all these, like the sprays and embossing and things like that. Make that branch a little bit darker. Because it can be hard as you're coloring. A lot of times you've got so many layers and so many patterns and textures from everything you've stamped before. It's hard to get it to stand out because everything's kind of competing with each other when you do like a mixed media card. Boy, it's so funny how much the dye inks fade just like as they dry out. I gotta think about what else I want to put. I kind of think I wouldn't mind using some more of these stickers, to be honest. I got this little bird here. This came from another one of the stickers, but I didn't want it. I think I'm going to put it up near that bird cage, though. It was kind of like going in. What it was is it was tying a ribbon on that little bouquet on one of the other cards we did. I can show you on this one right here. The little string there, this bird would have been flying up tying the string on there. And I didn't really like that. I thought it was kind of weird. So I think I'll just put him right there, and I'll probably do a sentiment there. Actually, I did have one that I kind of liked. Oh, I love these. These are the old occasions alphabets from Stampin' Up. O is the one, you're one. O is for one of a kind, that's you. Extra is for special. X is for extra, that's how special you are. Or Y is for you, that's who you are. I like that one. I think I like the O. I could leave it like that, or I could ink blend it with any of the colors that we've already used. I might go a little daring and use the belly color. You know, I know it's a little kind of like, ooh, that's a pretty bright color to use, but we've already used it, and I think that would be pretty, especially if I use like a blending brush, because I think it would be soft enough if I use a blending brush, because that really makes it a much lighter color. So let's try that. Let's see. Try this one. I don't think I have anything on that one. I think this was a Dollar Tree one too. Yeah, there's nothing on that. So I'm going to load it up. Just really gentle, very little pressure, because I don't want it to be really... I want it just to almost look like it was like stamped on that color cardstock, but a little bit more dimension. I mean, the white didn't look bad. You don't have to do this. Having a light touch is not something I'm very good at, so I'm gotta be careful. I only inked that up once, because remember, I didn't want it to be too dark. Hey, I think that looks pretty good. Hey, how about that? And then to clean the brush, can just kind of do that until it runs out of oomph. There we go. I think that'll be fine for whatever I use next. We can glue it down flat, or we can use a little dimension. We could even add a little ribbon behind it or something. I don't know. I feel like I want a little something. You know, what could I do there? Oh, I just want a little something. Is that so much to ask? Let me think on it, guys. I don't know. I like something. Maybe I just need some string. I don't know. Gosh, I wish I could ask you guys. Like, I wish it was live. You'd be like, guys, what should I do? You should stop 10 minutes ago. You know, doesn't it seem like it just needs a little something like to like tie it in? Oh, I don't know. Okay, I'll be back in a second after I decide. Okay, I did a little sticker surgery. I cut the little basket part off of this sticker, and I'm going to put it like that, but with some glue. I think I like that. Even though I kind of wanted that teal, some of that teal color up there, I think that works, and I think that's really pretty, and I think that'd be just delightful to receive in the mail. I love how all the layers built up on this one. I'm really happy with it. Yeah, so I'm going to keep on using stickers, and if I do something interesting, I'll turn the camera on. Okay, I think this is going to be the last card I show you how to make today. I just made this one, and the next one, it's not going to be identical, but it's going to be the same techniques, because I really liked a few of the new techniques I used on this one that I haven't shown yet. So, one thing I did was, we're going to stamp on some washi tape. I just threw all my things kind of in here so I didn't lose them. Let me get my card panel. And what we're going to do first is just lay down a piece of this washi tape. Now this, I don't know the brand name. I got it from Top Flight Stamps, but it's just a plain piece of tape. You could use masking tape. This has got a bit of a waxy finish, so I'm not exactly sure what this is supposed to be used for. It's kind of weird. It's like, I wonder what this is for. I love the idea of making my own custom product. So again, you could use masking tape. Hopefully this is acid free. I imagine it is if it's sold at an art store. What I'm going to do, since it's such a non-porous, slick surface, I'm going to burnish it down with my fingernail first so I can kind of see some of the background through it. And then I'm going to use solvent ink. This is Stays On in Timber Brown. It's a very, very dark brown. It was kind of a waste because it's not very different from my black. Maybe I misinked it at some point. I don't know. But anyway, not my favorite product, but when you do have a situation when you have a really slick surface and you need it to dry, it is a good ink for that. I don't know if I have this right side up or upside down, to be honest. It's not really going to matter because you're not going to see too much of it. And I'm really pushing it down hard because I don't have this cushioned, and I am on a little cushion pad, but I just want to make sure it makes contact in there. Oh, I love that. It's just kind of like, it's mostly on the tape. It goes a little off. I just think that's kind of fun, and I like it. And now make sure you definitely recap your StazOn. You put the little liner in there so it doesn't dry out on you. It is a finicky ink. And the next thing I want to do is stamp this Eiffel Tower here. I thought this was really pretty. By the way, these are from that stamp set by Craft. I thought that was really pretty. I know, don't they usually do like weird kind of funky stuff, but that one is just so elegant. I love their weird funky stuff, don't get me wrong, but this is just like, gorgeous vintage stationery. Love it. And I'm going to stamp that here. I hope it stamps good because I do have quite a bit of texture from the gelato there. Oh, you know what? I should have actually pounced this with my embossing bag, which is just a bag, a fabric pouch with cornstarch in it, or baby powder, whichever you have handy. That's all it is. Please don't pay $8 for a tiny little bottle of magic embossing powder. Oh my God, I cannot believe people buy that. It's just cornstarch or baby powder or talc. You probably have something in your bathroom or your kitchen cupboard that is identical. Where'd my little paper go? Here it is. I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, really, $8 for like like this much cornstarch? That's crazy. That's just crazy. You can even another good idea is like take like an old sock or a baby sock or something, put a scoop of cornstarch in there, and then use a rubber band to close it, and there you got a powder bag. You got an embossing powder bag. It's gonna work as good as anything you can buy for like practically free. And let's just heat this up really quick with the heat tool. Now, something I wanted to do with these cards is I wanted to use up some stuff I already had, and my friend Cindy had made some really cute tag embellishments with 3D flowers, and I really wanted to use them, but the colors weren't exactly right. So what I did, I'll show you right here while I'm embossing that, I actually inked up the edge of the tag to a Robin's Egg blue color, and there's a little bit of coral on that paper, and there's Robin's Egg blue in that paper, so I'm like, that's going to work really well for this card. Alright, we're almost done. While I'm at it, I can give the tape a quick dry too. There we go. This is like the longest video ever. I do hope you enjoy it. Alright, I'm going to tie a piece of ribbon on here. Love the vintage seam binding. So fun to make. I love that you can make it in whatever color. Any seam binding, any 100% rayon seam binding should do that crinkling when you wet it. And have you ever had a rayon shirt? You know what I mean, right? You wash it and then it's like it's such a mess, it's so crinkly. Same, but this is on purpose. Hug Snug is a brand that I like. There's other brands too. I think it's about $10 for 100 yards. At least it used to be on Amazon. But you buy the white or you buy the natural, and then you just dye it to whatever color you want. So I really like that. All right, I think I'm going to actually put this on the card base because I want to do some stamping around the edge. It's just easier to do that before I put all the other doodads on there. So I've got a card base here all ready to roll. That's pretty. And I'm actually going to put my adhesive on the card base because I don't want to smush. I don't want to smush it. I like to do the ribbon first so I can get that, anchored down. Just when you do this, try not to get the adhesive too close to the edge. You want to be able to get it close to your edge, but you don't want sticky bits to be off the edge there. It's kind of crooked. We'll try to peel that back up and do it again. Oh, maybe I should have just left it. Let's see. It could be my panel not trimmed absolutely straight. Or it could be the card base. Who can say? It doesn't really matter. Now we're going to do our little stitching here. I'm going to use, I know it's probably ridiculous, like, Lindsay, why do you have so many black inks? Well, you don't need this many black inks. You could do the StazOn for this, but I just find Ranger is a little bit darker, the Archival is a little bit darker, and it will dry on these weird, I'm sorry, I'm going to move that a little out of frame because I need to lean over it to see where that stamp's going to land. There. I just like it on the, well, maybe a little bit on that side. Maybe a little on the bottom. I don't know. I don't want to stamp it with a ribbon because they'll probably look gross. Do some on the bottom. I've used this stamp so much. It's I bought it a long time ago. Oh, I like that. That's kind of pretty. Okay, now we're gonna do our beautiful tag that my friend Cindy made. I'm just gonna lay that down there for a minute, figure out where I want everything. I've also got this little resin flower, but I think that might be actually too much with the 3D flowers. I don't want to take away from the 3D flowers. I've got this little die. It's like Stamps of Life, I think. It's oh, I kind of like that. All it is just a little banner, and I just die cut a bunch of those out, and I keep them in a, did I put it back already? I just keep it in a little pocket, a little clear pocket with a stamp set from Paper Tray Ink, oh, right here, that has beautiful sentiments. It actually came with other stuff, but the sentiments are so useful. I just took them, made an laminated card, put all the sentiments together, stamped them out so I know what the heck they were, and then I just die cut those out of the strips. By your paper trimmer, when you trim down your white or cream or craft cardstock, I just die cut those little things right out of the strips, those little banners, and then I just put them in here, and whenever I need a sentiment, it's right there. I use it all the time. All right, I'm gonna glue this down. You know what? I'm going to use double-sided tape because it is totally big enough for that. Oh, but then, you know what? I don't know if I can. Oh, I can. I was like, oh, it's kind of hard to. I'll probably put some glue on there too, just to be safe. And that's kind of neat because then the glue gives it a stronger bond, and the double-sided tape almost clamps it. Okay. And then I think I might glue, I really like having dimension. I'm going to have to put a clear block on that to hold that down. It doesn't want to stay. I think I will put some dimensional stuff on that. That little bugger does not want to stay down. There we go. Clear blocks are great for that because glue rarely sticks to them. So I highly recommend using those for that. Oh, my yellow foam squares are still going strong. I've been using them, I think, since I started my channel back in 2010. You just can't use them up. There, it's crazy. I like to cut them to fit what I'm sticking. Like these little tails or feathers, things like that, where you need a skinnier piece. Cut them to fit. Sometimes it's hard to aim, though, apparently, when you're sticking them down. There we go. So why is this one different than the other cards? Well, I did some embossing. I guess it really isn't. Oh, stamped on washi tape. That's why it's different. You're probably like, Lindsay, this is like the same technique. You just showed me. Oh, also we altered a previous embellishment to work with what we're now using. And I think this bird will help clamp that down so it can dry good. And then I'm also going to use foam squares on our little sentiment. And so when you use white, when you use white or cream or craft, you can use your ink brushes and your ink pads to make it match perfectly. So you can have whatever color you want. I'll use the ink tool first to ink up the cardstock, and then either dry it with a heat tool or pounce it with the cornstarch bag, and then it will be ready to stamp on over it. You could even emboss that if you want to. And I think it's really pretty. It's cute. It's easy. I'm using up some stuff. You gotta love it. Well, guys, I think that's going to be it for me today. I hope you enjoyed all these ideas. We did 9 cards. It only took me 2 days, right? That's why the video's so long. We did 9 cards. It was fun. I hope you had a good time. Used some stuff that we haven't used before. I'm probably going to finish up with these scraps and make a few more things. But and if I do, I can throw some photos in so you can see. It was a lot of fun to hang out with you today. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.